Ronstadt, and I have a new album.
Album Flash presents Linda Ronstadt.
This music is, in the way that the lyrics are structured, is about grown-up experiences and grown-up emotions. So I started trying to learn it, and as soon as I started learning the songs, they just got inside me. I wanted to record them, and I wanted to do it worse than anything I've ever wanted to do. He said, we're really wasting our time just doing one song with this huge orchestra. As long as we're going to have 50 pieces or 45 pieces in here, we might as well do a whole album. And I just said, oh my God, my dream has come true. Sometimes your dreams come true.
Haven't changed a bit. Handsome as ever, I must admit. What's new? How did that romance come through? We haven't met since then. Gee, but it's nice to see you again. What's new? Probably I'm boring you. But seeing you is grand, and you were sweet to offer your hand. I understand, I do. Pardon my asking what's new. Of course, you couldn't know. I haven't changed. I still love you so.
This project actually began, I guess, in the summer of 1980. I was doing Pirates of Penzance in the park, in Central Park in New York City, and it was an amazingly hot summer. And Jerry Wexler had invited me out to his house in East Hampton to cool off, and he played me a Mildred Bailey record. And I loved the way that she pronounced her words. They were, it was a very clear diction, beautiful kind of an American accent. It reminds me of the way Snow White sings, you know. It was just, he was this sort of blues singer, just singing like Snow White, you know. And I became fascinated with this material. It seemed to be something that described the emotions, the complexity of emotions that people past their teens, you know, start to experience. So I started trying to learn it. And as soon as I started learning the songs, they just got inside me. I wanted to record them, and I wanted to do it worse than anything I've ever wanted to do.
I remember your phrase for this. You said, these are songs I cannot not do.
I can't not do them. I mean, at some point, it's like falling in love, you know. It's choice doesn't even enter into it. Risk doesn't enter into it. You can't compare. I would think, well, my God, how can I sing these songs? Ella Fitzgerald has sung them. Billie Holiday has sung them. Frank Sinatra has sung them. So that's how I got to singing this stuff. And the project kept getting interrupted by, well, it got interrupted by me playing Pirates on Broadway, and then we made a movie of the same show. And through all of it, my mind was just on it all the time. I was in the bathtub, I was singing these songs, and all I could think about was that we would be sitting around on the set, and I think, God, I'm wasting all this time. I could be in the studio recording these standards. Because I was so desperate to just do one of these songs, I just wanted to get a chance to do it. And I said to Peter Asher, who was my producer, I said, well, maybe we should just do one, you know. I'd like to just do one with an orchestra. You were the only person that I knew that could do orchestrations like this. I didn't know where you were, whether you'd be interested in working with me, whether you'd ever heard of me or not.
So far, all the answers are yes.
I see. So when we called, I was so thrilled, you know, when you said you'd actually kind of meet with us. But the thing that was amazing was when you said, we're really wasting our time just doing one song with this huge orchestra. As long as we're going to have 50 pieces or 45 pieces in here, we might as well do a whole album. And I just said, oh, my God, my dream has come true. Sometimes your dreams come true.
How glad the many millions of Toms and Dicks and Williams would be to capture me. But you had such persistence, you wore down my resistance. I fell, and it was swell. You're my big and brave and handsome Romeo. How I won you, I will never, never know. It's not that you're attractive, but oh, my heart grew active when you came into view. I've got a crush on you, sweetie pie, all the day and night time. Hear me sigh. Could you care for a cunning cottage? We could share the world apart, my much. 'Cause I got a crush, my baby, on you. Would you care for a cunning cottage? We could share the world apart, Mama, 'cause I have got a crush, my baby, on
I'll probably never be in a position like this again as long as I live, which is to have the luxury of picking, being able to pick my material from 40 years of the greatest songwriting, probably, of this century, you know. I think American popular music has taken a lot of turns over this 100 years, but the thing that the 20s and 30s and 40s featured really was the songwriter. In the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and now into the 80s. It features the instrumental side of the music more. And the 20s and 30s and 40s were mainly that you had to have a great song. Just to start with, you had to have a great song, you know.
Right.
But it's amazing to me because I got to pick from, you know, from 40 years of just amazingly good songs from the best American songwriters.
Well, they're very lucky to have you to pick.
Well, we'll see. They had some other pretty
me.
good ones along the way. But also that was another luxury that I had, which is that I was removed from that era so that I wasn't exactly, I don't have to think of myself in terms of competing. Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday and Frank Sinatra were not my contemporaries. Girl singers of that era went for horn players a lot, I think.
Yes, they did.
Girl singers of this era seem to go for guitar players and songwriters. I must admit, I'm a sucker for a songwriter.
Dangerous mistake.
Big mistake. When I'm doing songs that are contemporary songs, since I know a lot of the songwriters, I know a lot of the stories that are behind them. There usually is a story behind every song like that, you know. I mean, I suppose there's some people that are sort of sitting in an office churning them out of the Brill Building, but
I don't want to hear those.
yeah, me neither. And the thing that was great to me is that you knew some of the stories, you know, behind some of those tunes, like What'll I Do?
Yeah, the one in particular that seemed to intrigue you, and certainly it intrigued me when I first heard it, was the story of Irving Berlin and his romance with Ellen McKay. Irving Berlin originally, and I think he might admit to this if he was prodded, he must be in his 90s now. Irving got his start as a singing waiter. And a singing waiter, in case you haven't heard, is somebody who delivers groceries and drinks to the tables, and in the meantime will sing the people's favorite song. You say, what is your favorite song? And then we'll tell him, and maybe for 25 cents, or I don't know what the rate of inflation was in those days, but for a very small amount of money, why, he would sing their song to them. Well, somehow Ellen McKay, who was a young heiress and the daughter of Mr. McKay, who was the founder and president of Postal Telegraph, which in those days gave Western Union one heck of a run for their money. It was the rival company. Ellen McKay fell under Irving Berlin's spell, and they were very fond of each other. And the main barrier was that Irving Berlin came from very poor people, and Ellen was a very wealthy young debutante in New York City. And Ellen's father took large exception to this type of liaison, and he did everything he could to break it up. What he didn't recognize was that Irving had a weapon, a secret weapon. It's called songwriting. And it's because of this romance that What'll I Do was born. This was a plea, perhaps at one of their early enforced separations, enforced by Mr. McKay. This was a plea to let Ellen know that he was still thinking about her and that how desperately he needed to be with her. What'll I do? And you can trace the lyric for yourself, and you see it all tells that story.
Oh, so sweet.
And then another follow-up song, which apparently healed another rift caused by Mr. McKay, was a song called All Alone by the Telephone. And both those songs worked their magic, and eventually Irving and Ellen were married, and they have been together ever since.
I need your love so badly. I love you oh so madly. But I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you. I thought at last I'd found you, but other loves surround you. I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you. If you'd surrender for a tender kiss or two, you might discover that I'm the lover meant for you, and I'll be true. But what's the good of scheming? I know I must be dreaming, 'cause I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you. So what's the good of scheming? I know I must be dreaming. I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you.
The 50s has been explored a lot, especially in the 80s by rock and roll. A very sort of harsh side of the 50s, you know, sort of a very angular shapes and sort of muddy colors. And there was also the more kind of grown-up side of the 50s was a very lush sort of style, and that's how I sort of tried to present these songs and the style of the graphics that are with the album, you know, that it makes me think of Technicolor movies.
When I came to Los Angeles in 1946 from New York, I really wanted to work in the movies. I really wanted to do movie scoring. But nevertheless, my lot seemed to be doing records, trying to make what I was doing interesting to me. I played a little game. So I made believe that each song was a scene from a romantic picture. And I would use the introductions to set the scene, almost as if it were part of a picture score.
What I usually do is just I run a movie. You know, I make a little movie. It's like little scenes that are going down. And just kind of want to dream through, you know, from the beginning to the end. I wanted to make people dream. I wanted to make them want to slow dance around their living room, sit down on the couch and make out.
I'll never forget you. I'll never forget you. I'll never forget how we promised one day to love one another forever that way. We said we'd never say goodbye. But that was long ago. Now you've forgotten, I know. No use to wonder why. Let's say farewell with a sigh. Let love die, but we'll go on living our own way of living. So you take the high road and I'll take the low. It's time that we parted. It's much better so. But kiss me as you go. But we'll go on living our own way of living. So you take the high road and I'll take the low. It's time that we parted. It's much better so. But kiss me as you go. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.
Next, classic British comedy with Charles Laughton as a stingy old widower whose efforts to keep his 3 single daughters safe at home forces him to make Hobson's choice.
What's your name?
Tim.
Cinemax presents a very different love story.
You can't read?
All right.
2 people with nothing in common.
I'm not full quid. Anyone will tell you that.
2 people who shared a very real friendship.
I like you. I like you the same as I like my mum and dad. Mary's been teaching me to read. She says I'm doing real good.
But it was a friendship that grew to be more.
I like your dad, but I could never like him as much as I like you.
You don't like me anymore. It's him you like now. I've seen you hugging him all the time. And I want you to hug me, but you don't.
You're young. And he's old.
You can't walk away from him now, Mary. You know that.
Piper Laurie, Mel Gibson, in a story from the author of The Thornbirds, Tim.
Festivals continue in September as Cinemax salutes James Stewart with this special presentation.
It's the moment they've all been waiting for.
9 p.m. America, and time for Name the Mystery Husband. Brought to you
The chance of a lifetime.
I'm going to call the McDougalls and the Browns and tell them to get right over here. This is the biggest thing that's hit Glendale since the tornado.
Soon it will be history.
I think it's Harry Jane.
And life around the Lawrence house will never be quite the same.
You have won the $24,000 jackpot.
Opportunities you never dreamed of.
How about a man's wristwatch? Ladies' lapel watch? Boy's pocket watch?
An unexpected promotion.
No one by that name on my payroll.
An instant celebrity.
Say, our readers might be interested in knowing what you're going to do about your income tax.
James Stewart.
$7,000.
Barbara Hale.
What about the state tax?
Natalie Wood.
Are you two getting a divorce?
Their world turns topsy-turvy when they hit the jackpot on Cinemax.